All you of YouTube just missed all my commentary. Yeah, I just conjured up some strength. I ate something very, I don't know what happened to me this morning. I'm not in a good way, but I can be in a coma and I can trade better than most people. What I was just saying, only the people on Hit the Bid heard this commentary. Yesterday solidified the bull market, right? Thursday, we got our correction. Was not surprising to have a blow off top on an earnings report, and we cascaded and we test those lows. Friday, we faux show broed at the low, got back over VWAP. That was the end of the bull market. So it lasted 7 hours. Right? Longest bull market of 2025 so far. Bear market, sorry. Bear market was over Friday afternoon. And then just to rub it in your face, they power gap it on Monday just to fuck you up. If you actually thought about staying short over the weekend, like a demented person. But then the market did something sane by correcting the massive gap on Monday and pulling back to the exact spot where it should have. And market generally doesn't do what you think it should do. Yesterday did exactly what I thought it should do. Consolidate the gain from the Monday gap. And then faux show bro one more time to trap new shorters because nobody in their right mind is shorting this market for any extended period of time. You got a whopping 7 hours out of it Thursday. It was only 5 hours. 7 hours collectively because 5 hours on Thursday, 2 hours on Friday. And now if you multiply that by 10, now the market has to go up for at least 70 hours because generally you have to go up tenfold every time we pull back, multiply that by 10, and that's generally what we do. So if we pull back for 7 hours, you're good for 70 hours of a bull market. So one day, if the market actually, I can't say it without laughing, if the market ever actually goes down 3 days in a row, that might trigger a market we might not see go down for 300 days. I don't know what's going to take. I don't remember the last time. I think February maybe. I don't remember the last time the market went down 3 days in a row. I don't. I actually don't remember it. But to my point, if you own a stock that has gone down 3 days in a row, sell it because it ain't part of this club. You don't want to own stocks that are not part of the bull market club. Somebody just wrote, market may not go down. My stocks surely do. Exactly. That's why I hate the freaking, nobody can outsmart the market. You just buy the market. The greatest invention ever was ETFs. You can buy the market now. You're never going to beat it. Just join it. Individual stock ownership is you're just lucky if you hit a couple. Inevitably, they'll stock going up anyway and roll over and die. But the market never goes down. So yeah, normally I don't do call spreads because you're trying to you're locking in the gain. This is the reverse call spread. It's a calendar call spread or a diagonal call spread. You're selling premium for today to help you pay for what you own on Friday. You follow? Like I think the Q's closed 618 today. Well, I do actually think they close at 617.50. So if I sell a 618 today, but I own a 617 for tomorrow, you understand? So I could sell the 618s or, hopefully, when the 619s hit 10 cents, you sell those, right? And then you own the 616s. So we're never going to buy these for under $1.50. But if you own these, your cost average is 618. So worst case scenario, if the market continues to rip and you'll have to exercise your 618, you won't lose any money. You're just capping your gain. That's what's so stupid about call spreads. It's hard enough to find a winning trade. With a call spread, you're trying to buy at the right time and also say exactly where the stock's going to stop going up. It's a virtually impossible trade. That's why call spreads are awful. So why am I even thinking about doing it? I'm not. So just talking it through, because the best thing to do is just buy the 616s for Friday, and when they close at 622.50, they'll be worth 6 points, and you'll make 300% on your money. Or just buy for Monday the 620s. When, let's see how much the 620s are. Still got a 6.16. The only thing about what I'm trying to do, it's not like I'm capping the gain per se, because if they go to 618 today and they close at 618, that's perfect, because then you still got the 616 for Friday. And I just exhausted myself just having this conversation. Just there you go. There you go. Thank you, Dustin. Just buy the cues. Exactly. What the hell are we talking about? And oh my God. I mean, seriously, my friends, this stock represents everything I've ever learned about the stock market. I don't care if Olma is an AI stock or a pump and dump pharmaceutical company, which it is. This has been a pump and dump for 25 years. I know this stock. This was one of my Andy Dufresne's. 20 years this stock's been around. Pump and dump garbage, right? And then suddenly they said something apparently awesome, and this thing ripped, right? So now, yeah, this thing is so bad. This doesn't even reflect. This thing's been around longer than this. This was a penny stock, a split adjusted penny stock too. We've had our fun with it. I'm pretty sure there was a reverse split in this stock. I don't see it here. Wait a second. I think they reissued the stock. This thing's been around for longer than this. Anyway, none of that matters. What matters is what we're doing right with it now, right? So you had this monster news story, which we just figured it was a pump and it would get dumped. And it got dumped. And it got dumped all the way back to 1750. Remember? So here, you see it better here. No brainer short that first day because it was up 700%. And then it broke down, and then it broke 20. You figured 1750. You got the 1750. And where's the 1750? There's the 1750. And surprisingly, it held. Whoa. And once it held, it changed the entire posture of the stock because it consolidated and then broke out. Hello. And we've been loving it ever since. And there's nothing like not to like. And it paid us for 6 days in a row. And now you are busting the fudge out, because some people don't go deep dive into their charts. Remember, they're only seeing this, which is a engulfing that's inside, coming outside the reaction candle, super bullish above 27.17. I remember, if you remember what I was telling you a couple of days ago, if it breaks 27.17, stop what you're doing and buy it, because you got an outside break. But if you do a deeper dive, you're still inside the monster candle, and you are getting in there right now, homies. So if you can get above 29.66, oh shit, because it could go up right 10 more points. So that's why it's the only stock I'm interested in right now. Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. So let's go. And if this thing had weeklies, I'd be loaded the fuck up right now. This only has monthlies, and they're kind of awful. Let's see how much they cost. A $30, yeah, $30 cost $3. No volume. Yeah, it's too much. Even though it's probably going to be a good play. But any close above the high candle, ooh, baby. Any close. If this closes above 29.66, it's gone. She's gone. If it closes above 28.41, that's super bullish. Because now you're closing above here, and you only got these two. You got one more high print. You get through that 29.66, you're inside this ridiculousness. And then if you look at the long-term chart, and also biotechs are obviously hot again. Everybody's rotating into bio. You got. I got to go do some more research now because I'm pretty freaking sure the stock's been around for more than 5 years. Maybe they reissued it like they did. Sometimes they change the name and the symbol of a stock, and it screws the chart up, like FI. Because FI is now FISV again. It used to be FS. Oh no, they fixed the chart finally. Sometimes they change the symbol and it doesn't reflect on the chart. Pretty sure Olma was a penny stock at one point. It did a reverse split. Olma split history. Oh my God. No history of stock splits? Am I just having a freaking moment here where I'm thinking about something completely different? No, I'm pretty sure. Am I thinking of something completely? No, it's definitely this stock. Because this was one of my Andy Dufresne's. Maybe it was just I guess it was just an Andy Dufresne. I remember it being even worse. I thought the stock was down in the sub $2. Anywho, remind me not to have eggs and cheese anymore. I'm hallucinating right now. Anyway, take a look at UVXY, my friends. If you want to see a chart, and I don't know if the guy who's in here who says he always owns some UVXY. No, you do not. Don't say that out loud. No, you don't, because you would know better by now. Because anytime you've owned any UVXY over any extended period of time, this is a real chart, my friends. Obviously, the prices are not, but this is a real chart. Look at that. Look at that. Is that something you want to own? Is that something you want to own? Well, if you do own it, I guess you should be buying more here at $49 because any day now it's going to go back to 339 billion. Or wait, if you can just get over 339 billion, then you got a shot for it to get back to its all-time highs, I guess, right? And there's a delusional psychopath that thinks the stock could actually go back to these levels, right? The split adjusted high is $6.120 trillion. You got to love it here at $58 or $49, right? And somebody out there who doesn't know what they're doing thinks that's actually possible. The product is built to go down. The product is built to reflect intraday fear. Once that intraday fear dissipates, which it usually does, like Thursday is now a fart in the wind. It didn't even happen at this point because we're above where we broke down from. So once again, did the market actually go down? I guess. I was there for it. I saw it happen. I was involved. And it went down yesterday too for a couple hours. But are you getting it now, Jimmy? You're out there, right? Listening? You get it now, finally? Let me know when you stay short for any extended period of time, Jimmy. So if you want to debate, you lose every time. And if you're in the deer, congratulations. Finally got paid. Let's go. And if you didn't buy deer, this could be a new faux show bro right here. Hello. If anybody didn't rebuy it, let's go, people. Yeah, I'm having some sort of allergic attack. My freaking throat's getting all swollen too now. I think I was poisoned. It's got to be some other stock then. Yeah, it was another something. I can't. I don't know what it was because I trade so many stocks. Well, it doesn't matter now. The stock's on a breakout. So, oh my god. Speaking of dog shit stocks, here's another one for you. Got you. Did Got you do anything today? Yeah. Chinese education stock or something. I forgot what this was. I don't know, man. I went to the allergist, the whole thing. I don't know. It's definitely something about eggs, but it's certain eggs. Sometimes I eat them, nothing happens. Sometimes I eat them and I'm all fucked up. Ah. Anyway, the theme of today is don't churn your account. It's kind of like a repeat of Monday. At least this time you actually had a chance to make some money on a short position and you got a better chance at buying the long down here. But now we're in bullish. This is just your classic 3-day rally. The only thing that's going to derail the market would be seriously a tsunami. I think we had a tsunami one year and the market didn't go up the Monday. I think I don't know if it's Christmas or Thanksgiving. I don't know. Something happened. About 56,000 people were killed. Market was actually down that morning. Everybody thought the semiconductor industry would be ruined by the tsunami. That sell off lasted about 8 hours. But really, this is the market where you buy your calls and then you not only just stay away from doing anything for the rest of today, you're holding. You're holding right till Friday, and usually Friday's a gap and go, and then we close early, and then we gap and go on Monday. So just realistically, you got to be thinking 527 between 525 and 527.50 Monday close or higher. And if you don't want to hold overnight, just at least hold into the close tonight all the way till 8 p.m. because we usually just grind, break highs into the aftermarket, and then grind all the way till the 8 p.m. close. I'm assuming that we're going 8 p.m. tonight. And then Friday's just till 1 o'clock. But here's a word of advice don't short. MSTR, I don't look at it. It's bad luck. It's not a real stock. I don't like to taint my chart by looking at it. I hope it gets delisted and disbanded and thrown away. It's just a Coinbase Bitcoin tracking stock at this point. Coin I mean, Bitcoin go up, MSTR go up, right? I don't look at any of those tracking. I hate all Bitcoin related stocks. I've gone back to hating Bitcoin, even though I own it. I don't give a shit. I hope it goes to zero and I own it because that would make me laugh. All these things just get completely wiped out overnight. See MSTR trading at -4. Oh, that tsunami was Christmas, huh? Right. I'm not even joking about MicroStrategy. I shouldn't even have it on my scanner. Like those Mara stocks and the riots, any of that crap. I can't. I can't stand those stocks. They're not real to me. But one thing's for sure, Bitcoin obviously is not a protector of anything, right? It's not a hedge for the market. It's just another version of tech stocks. That's all it is. It's never going to be used as a real currency. It's never going to be used for anything. See, at least my cryptocurrency, you'll be able to buy a hat with it. Sell your Bitcoin. I got something coming out. It's going to be good. Hey, speaking of worthless stocks, there went one. Jemmy held 10. That's 3 times now. Oh, look at that. I don't know why I got such a boner for this stock. You know what it is? I can't imagine these freak twins aren't going to manipulate this stock back up. I mean, they probably got a lot of people hating on them. Well, then again, I'm sure they don't, as a matter of fact, because the insiders dumped this stock on retail. They all got paid already, so they're all high-fiving each other and probably having some sort of gay sex orgy with themselves, like that show Black Monday. But man, how? I mean, they should be excommunicated from the industry. How rude and disrespectful. How do you put out an IPO that drops 80% in a market that never goes down? Oh, I don't even know what it is. I thought it was like a Coinbase type of thing. And I know they had a credit card associated with it. I don't know. I just figured these two freaks would have a good IPO. I mean, they've been talking about it for 7 years. They finally bring it out, and it's just one of the worst IPOs in the history of the market. Speaking of crazy, want to know something weird? So we were looking at this list of the worst IPOs, Select Quote, kind of, Wish. Guys remember Wish? And then there was this golf club company, SLGC, which opened up, went up big, and then it dropped 99.5%. Do you know how they actually are still around? They changed the symbol to NWTG. And the stock actually had a pretty decent day the other day. It's up 100% for the week. Manipulation is of many, many, many forms of it. The first form of manipulation is you hire investment bankers to bring your shitty company public, and you pay marketing companies, and then you pay off people over at CNBC and Fox Business to talk positively about your thing. They come on and give you some softball interviews about how awesome your company is and how everybody should be a buyer of it. And then you dump the stock and you sell it and you keep selling through your rat holes and your offshore accounts and you pound it while everybody's got caught holding the bag and the Winklevoss brothers and their cohorts sail away with all of our money. Well, not my money, but the suckers who bought this thing near the open or the dip in the first couple of days or basically any other day except for today. Yeah, so the way I'm thinking is now that they've crushed it on the downside, they might come along and, gather their troops and buy it. But so far, this thing cannot get any traction. But if it could, first sign of a stock stops going down, it actually stops going down. This hasn't stopped going down yet. It's a pause, but it's got to break back over a prior low and hold that level. Then you could actually say it's onto a uptrend. Right now, it's just either it's probably waiting to die. Stocks that break 10 usually go to 750, but I just want to be there for the turn because if it does turn, it could rally 40, 50% right back to that 14 area. That's all. Oh, yeah. Most IPOs are awful. People are not bringing they worked all their lives. They built the company up. And the way they cash out is they go public. Remember, the insiders are in the stock at cost, which is to them sometimes is zero. So they don't care. They're dying to sell. Right? Let's say you worked 8 years, you built this company up and you're doing really well. You go public. You don't really go public to help the public. You go public to help yourself and your insider friends and the people that own the stock in private placements and treasury stock and corporate stock. Most of the IPOs get dumped because everybody's cashing out. Even though they're not supposed to, there's restrictions to that, but this is Wall Street. All you got to do is go offshore, open up an account, and start shorting the stock against the stock that you own in another account. And that's how you do it. Or you just have these rat holes where you just pay people to short the stock. And then when your stock becomes free, you transfer the stock to them. You pay them a nice 30% for helping you out because it's free money to you. It's just one big manipulation. Go watch The Big Short. The Big Short, Boiler Room, Wolf of Wall Street, all of that stuff is so damn true. But the best movie really was Boiler Room because that really shows you the inner workings of how they manipulate small cap stocks. And that's where I worked. I didn't know what I was complicit in until I found out, and then I quit. Well, I was threatened with bodily harm. I don't know if you know some of my stories, but I threatened my company when they wouldn't let some of my guys out. We actually had an IPO that actually went up for the first time. Never actually goes up because usually we sell it at a premium and then we dump it and then it goes to zero and everybody loses except the insiders. So we actually had an IPO that went from 3 to 5 and then actually had a real bid on it for 6. So I said, hey, can I sell some of my clients out? Because you had to be in with the owners to be able to really make some money on these penny stock IPO bullshit. And I was told no. And I said, hey, how about I do this? Why don't I tell my client to call the SEC to see why he can't sell his stock on the open market? And then everybody stopped talking. And they called me into the office and they said, is that what you're going to do? No. And I felt threatened and I quit. Because I definitely was threatened once I threw the SEC in there. And that was my last day. And I just walked out and I never returned. I called all my clients to try to tell them to all call the SEC and FINRA and all that stuff. And half of them had already been called by the company. And they said, well, they told me that you're the criminal. I'm like, of course they did, because I'm the one that's telling you the truth. Your stock is worthless. They sold you some dog shit. There's no bid on the stock. And the only reason there's a bid on it today is that they're trying to dump it. They're trying to sell it to other people. So call them and tell them you see the bids at 4.25. You want the 4.25 bid. And they're going to tell you, no, the bid's at 2. It's bullshit. There's only one market maker on the stock. And that's why I've been jaded ever since. I saw the sausage being made, and it's ugly. The other side, market makers manipulating the stock, the brokers being complicit with the market makers, and that there's only 2 or 3 million shares in the float. That means how many shares are available. If there's only 3 million shares, I can control the whole thing. So if I know where every share is, I can make it do whatever I want. So for instance, if I know people are going to be buying it because I have a team of 90 lunatics wearing white shirts and blue and red ties, like you see in the movie, I know the stock is going to go up. So as the market maker, I move the offers on very low volume to make it seem like the stock is running. But it's on low. I'm literally moving the stock. I'm just changing the price because I am the one. There's only 2 market makers. So let's say if somebody sent an order for 40,000 shares, I could print them all at 40,000, but we wouldn't do that. We would print 1,000, move the offer, print 1,000, move the offer. So on, somebody wanted to buy 8,000 shares, we moved the stock literally from $3 to $4, which was a 30% move. And then if somebody wanted to sell it, oh, well, no, you can't sell it. Oh, and we would just drop the bid basically to $1. And you'd have a stock with a $4 offer and a $1 bid, which was illegal. But nobody cared because we were in the pink sheets and the bulletin boards where there is no law. It's just awful. That's why I hate the market. I saw that stuff first. And then everything I learned about the market at an early age was how corrupt and awful it was. And that's why when I became a trader, I was like, oh, good. I don't got to talk to anybody now. Now I could just, I learned how the market making worked. That's why I kind of had a knack for trading when I went on my own. But my jadedness and cynicism and skepticism prevented me from enjoying what 97 to 99 was all about. That's why when the market crashed in 2000, that's where I made all my money. I was short stocks from 300. I never had to even cover. They went to zero. I shorted the stock CRDS at $385. I had like 2 CRDS CRUDs, which was my favorite symbol. It's one of those bullshit fiber optic companies at the time. You guys remember those stocks? Stock went from $4 to $400. They had 4 employees and 0 revenue. And I was sitting there short at like 280, getting crushed for like 100K. I just kept adding to it. And then it finally crashed. And, I made $660,000 on the trade. One trade. And that's why I've been addicted to shorting ever since, even though it doesn't work no more. Make shorting great again. That's my story. And now we are in a market that doesn't go down, but it actually does make sense that it's not going down. It's really not a bubble. Some of those stocks were bubblicious, but the market, the Qs, this is not a bubble. We've been rallying and consolidating and pulling back and rallying and consolidating and pulling back. And the valuation in 2000 was a bubble because the companies weren't making any money. Palantir's making some money. Hood is making some money. Google is kicking ass. Tesla is rocking. Amazon is doing very well. AMD is doing well. This company, Apple, it makes some cash. This isn't 1999. We get a little overextended and then we have to correct. But this market is, I hate to say it, I think we're going to double in the next 3.5 years. Easy. I do not see the Qs not being, that's a double negative, sorry. The Qs will probably be at least 1,000 very, very soon, or sooner than you even think. The infrastructure build is real. AI is not going anywhere. Quantum computing is mostly a myth. Most of those companies are completely worthless, but a few will do something. Nuclear is real. We're definitely going to have to use more nuclear to power the next generation of this new industrial revolution we're going into. We're going to have to use rare earths. It's just some of these stocks were penny stocks that were up 2,000, 3,000%, and they just had to consolidate. Do you think buying shares of TQQ and holding till the end of the year is a good idea? Yes. I'd rather buy the Qs. TQQ's got what you got. It's called slippage because it's a leveraged version. So it's not going to give you the same exact move. It slips. But it's a cheap way. Here's another one. It's QLD, which is cheaper, I think. QLD. Oh, no. It's actually more expensive now. This one, it doesn't have as much slippage, I think. But anything leveraged has the slippage. Like UVXY. UVXY. Free money, people. Free money. You guys are all short UVXY since I told you, right? You guys are at least short from 60. Maybe you didn't want to short it that first day above 65, but did I tell you? Split day on UVXY is like Christmas for traders. Those first couple of days are usually the best part. It'll be at this stock, if you want to call it a stock. This ETF will be probably down another 10. Even if the market doesn't do, let's say the market just stays stable. I'm thinking we're rallying the rest of today, Friday, Monday. This legitimately could be $40 by Tuesday afternoon. Because when the reverse split, it's just all air. It's not real. It reflects fear. And if there's no fear, it's built on futures contracts and options that expire. So once they expire, this thing gets hammered. And they expire a lot of time. They have adjustments on Mondays and Fridays. That's why when it is strong on a Monday or a Friday, that's super, super bearish for the market. But notoriously, this is the easiest short. And it should be part of everybody's repertoire. Everybody should short this stock at least once a week. And if not, just hold it short. Just don't ever short it with enough where you have to be worried. You short 300 shares, it goes up in your face 10 points, and you're down $3,000. Don't worry about it. Short another 200. Goes up another 10 points. Holy shit, I'm down $6,000. Kenny, you said this was free money. Yeah, short another 200. Oh my God, it rallied another 20 points. Holy shit, I'm down $10,000 on this position. Great. Short another 500 shares of it, because then when it rolls over, it drops 50%. The only time you lose money shorting UVXY is if you run out of money. I know it sounds silly, but it's true. You know, just like betting on baseball, right? If you have enough money, you can't lose betting on baseball. Think about it. How many times does a team win more than 10 games in a row? Right? You have 162 games. Right? I've been gambling my whole life. If you have enough money, you need a lot of money, because it can get really gnarly if your team, again, you pick one team. I usually bet against the Yankees or the Mets. There's rarely a 10-game winning streak. So let's say you bet 120 to win 150 and you lose. Okay, now you're down to 120. Tomorrow you got to bet at least 200 because you want to win your money back and then something. Oh, you lost again. So now you're down 300 and change. You get the idea. You have to keep increasing your bet to win the money back, and then you also want to win something. There's never been a team that's won 162 games in a row, right? The longest winning streak was 22 games. I mean, going and increasing your bet 22 times in a row, you're going to be down about 90 or 120 grand at one point. Not many bookies are going to let you keep putting that bet on, but in theory, if you have enough money, you could do it, like I do against the Jets, even though I don't do it anymore because it's just sucked the joy out of all football. That team, I can't even watch them anymore. What was my point? Oh, my point was this UVXY trade. If you don't trade it with scared money, you cannot lose. Right? Since I got blown out because I had, roughly 50,000 shares roughly, and it went horribly wrong. It's a lot of shares. I should never got to that point. And I literally ran out of money. Charles Schwab woke up out of his grave and called me. You the guy with the 50,000 shares of UVXY? Yeah, you have to get out of that by the end of the day. And I said to the guy, but it's going to revert. And he said, sure it will. And I wanted to find out who this guy was calling me from Charles Schwab when he said that to me. And I was like, motherfucker, do you have any idea what you're talking about? I was like, this is a reverting product. I don't give a shit that it's up 30 points against me. It's going to go back down within a day or two. Well, not with you in it, because you got to cover right now. I literally ran out of money. I never had a margin call in my life. Worst day of my life. Uh-oh. UVXY spiking. Uh-oh. End of the world. What's going on? Chinese stocks rolling over. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Look out. Yeah. All kidding aside, if UVXY actually starts ripping and goes green, there's something's going on right now. Looks like Chinese stocks going down. Yeah, kill China. And also, when you see a moment of volatility in the market, you must go glance over at UVXY. What's it doing? Oh, it popped 40 whole cents. Wow. Nothing to be worried about. UVXY rips 2 points right now. You got something to worry about. Right now, it's just a Chinese stock attack, it looks like, which is good. Maybe they just announced that we're delisting all the Chinese stocks. Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah, Tara, I could tell you stories for days. Horrifying stories, most of them. Awful people, awful trades, awful companies, manipulation, fraud. I've seen it all. That's why this VWAP trade means more to me than most people, because it's all I got. It's all I got left. It's the only thing that hasn't disappointed me or lied to me in this industry. I've had people that I thought were my close friends have double crossed me in this industry. Still not over it. But man, I have seen the worst of the worst. Blatant criminality, people laughing about robbing other people. Just, it's just so sick. Dude's making, 80 grand a month robbing people and he's laughing. I'm like, so this guy that you just robbed of that 8 grand on the phone is like, he probably needs that 8 grand a lot more than you do. Fuck him. That was their attitude. He's stupid enough to buy something from some stranger that just called him out of the blue. Fuck him. That was their attitude. Most of these brokers, they didn't give a shit. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there schmoozing, trying to get to know people, make sure nobody gets hurt. That's why I didn't make it as a broker. And you see that little sell program? See what UVXY did? It spiked for a second and didn't go anywhere. So that was just a little sell program in some Chinese stocks. Nothing to be worried about. Dr. Frauenflugen, what did you say? If I had 10 grand to short it, how would you do it? What? I missed the first part of that question. Hold on. Which thing would you short? What are you asking about? UVXY? Yeah, you just start small. I sell naked calls out of the money. Not everyone's even allowed to do that. Yeah, so I'm gonna start soon because I'm exposed right now to the ones that have been split adjusted. So here, hopefully the market sells off one more time. See, again, I always have ulterior motives. I like making money on the downside because most people don't. I'm not rooting for everybody to lose all their money. And I also want UVXY to rip, because if it rips, then they create higher strike prices. And we all know, well, now you all know, that it never keeps going up. You'll have moments where it rallies when the market's scary. And then see how they only have strike prices that go up to 100? If it rips to, let's say, back to 75 or 80, right? They'll create like 150. Sometimes they even throw out the 200s. Back in the day when this is only 2 times now. It used to be a 3x version. It used to be triple leveraged, so it was even more volatile. So when it would spike, there was $250 calls out there. You'd go 6 months out, and they were like 12 or 15 bucks. I remember when I first discovered this, and it was like $40, and the $250 calls 6 months out were sitting there at $12. And I'm sitting there and going, how is this possible? Why would anybody buy a $250 call for $12 on a product that seems to not go up too often? It's because they think of those as the lottos, the last strike price. Usually it's the leaps. So let's talk like January. Let's go out to next year. Let's see, January 2027, we're looking at already. All right, so they got the one. Those aren't them. Well, those are them. Yeah, so they only go to 111. They used to go to 250. But here, you see how they're 14 by 9? Now, again, this is over a year away. If UVXY, if the market does get hammered again, I hope that's what happens, UVXY spikes to, let's say, $75, they'll start creating the 150s and the 200s. If you could, and again, it's not like it can't go to 200. That's why you just don't go over your head. But if they start creating new chains, 150s, 180s, 200s, and you could start selling some, this thing's at $80 and you start selling some 200s for 20. You're selling 3 contracts, that's $6,000. You just got to wait for the money. And, again, you don't start off by going all in just in case. And then you just add to it. And inevitably they all expire worthless because this thing never holds a bid and rolls over and dies. Guaranteed to roll over and die. So the question is, why don't you just buy puts on it, Kenny? Because look how damn expensive they are. They make it virtually impossible to. They don't want to make it easy for you to short it. That's why Fridays on options expiration, when you have a stable day, you go buy the out of the money puts on UVXY on Fridays. That's the only time to play puts on UVXY. So tomorrow, Friday, tomorrow's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, Friday 49s. Wait a second. Oh, sorry. I thought they was at 48.79. I was like, how the 49s only 34 cents? But let's say, and let's hope, because I actually am planning to do this trade. Let's hope that the market just stays right here and UVXY stays right here, chops around, maybe even gets to 50. Friday, we open up at 50 and a half. And then it starts to roll over. Your $50 puts that expire that in 3 hours. Remember, Friday is a holiday shortened day. You can get some $50 puts for 10 cents. Stock drops $1. Your 10-cent option goes to $1, and you make 1,000%. That's the only time to trade UVXY puts. Thursdays and Fridays, really just Fridays. But on the flip side, it's either you could short the stock intraday, which is usually good. Crushed it the other day, and I got short in the heat of battle because I know it goes down. So I was shorting it. I was shorting it on Thursday in the midst of all that sick volatility because I wanted to get a head start last week. That's not even where I was short. I was shorting it here. Obviously I wasn't fucking with it when it was still hitting highs and bop, 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 boo. Once that shit rolled over, good night. And been short ever since. Sorry, that's Friday. But yeah. But here's what it looked like on Thursday. Oh, by the way, here, look at that. If you ever see UVXY looking like that, run. Run. Make sure you're short something. If you ever see UVXY consolidate, break VWAP, and break new highs and start ripping, all hell's breaking loose. What does that mean? Oh my God. So yeah, UVXY doing that, you're in something different because you don't go UVXY. I could honestly say it never does this, but it did. I know. So when something never happens, starts to happen, you better take it under advisement. And that was when Nvidia and the Qs were rolling over and the market was getting smoked. The next day, when UVXY broke VWAP and the Qs broke VWAP, that was the end of the bear market, right? It lasted for, half a day. And look what's happened since, $65.67. Dun, 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 dun. No rest for the wicked. And that's generally what you're going to see. Look at the last. Here's a 4-day on a 5-minute chart. Just I'll give you 5 days. 4 days on a 20-minute chart. There you go. That's what you normally see. Oh my God, the market's crashing. What's going on? And everything's okay. And everything's good. And now you're back below where it even came from. And chances are this trend right here will last for the rest of the year. And this thing will be at probably $30 by New Year's. So saying that, right? So you say, all right, so let's buy the $30 put going out 3 weeks. Okay, let's see. Let's go Christmas 30s. First of all, nobody's even trading them. That's just kind of weird. Actually, that's not bad right there. The 50s for 5. Actually, that actually isn't bad. That's actually fairly priced considering what this thing probably will be. So the 50, but think about it, you got to lay out $5, right? So this thing has to go under 45 just to start breaking even, which it probably will, but you still got to pay so much money to be part of it. But let's say even go further. Let's go all the way out to March when the Qs should be 900 by March. UVXY will be, let's see. Yeah, look at this. Nobody trades them. That's why, look at the spreads. Nobody trades them. 90 by 275. You try to buy them at, maybe they'll print you here. Somebody got printed at 129. If you're going to do put, this is the only time where you have to do the spreads because you're paying up so much, but you can use the high premiums to pay for the higher strike prices. Assuming you get a 550 for like 11, and you sell them 30 for $1.25 or $1.50. Or just pretend we just didn't have that conversation. Just short it. Just short it all the time. You see that one move that it just had? That's a day's pay right there. If you short 1,000 shares, it pulled back 40 cents. Boom. You're already having a nice moment. See how it's at the lows of the day already? It's going to 0 and new lows. Right? Hey, what was that spike all about? Nothing. They're just trying to get some shorts out. This is nothing. It's never nothing till it's something. And you'll know the difference. It's never nothing. It's always nothing until it's something. I like that quote. I'll leave you on that. I'll be back later this afternoon. Good luck. Still figure the Qs are going to close at the highs. So we got another 3 hour. I'll see you guys in a while. Suspicious. All right. Well, signing off. Have a great Thanksgiving. Be careful. And don't listen to anything your uncle says. He knows nothing.